Hello, welcome back to Margot Watches Movies. My name is Jake Margot, and today I'm going to be talking about a new film that just came out from director Gavin O'Connor called The Accountant 2. It's starring Ben Affleck, Jon Bernthal, a little bit of J.K. Simmons. This is a sequel to what was it, like 2016? Kind of a surprise sequel, I guess. The first movie did well, but 9 years later, for an original IP is kind of interesting. The first Accountant was not met with critical acclaim, but audiences loved it. I thought it was fairly enjoyable. The whole idea, the concept of Ben Affleck kind of playing like a numbers savant, slightly autistic, kind of like hitman, badass, was really cool. And I think this movie, minus the presence of Anna Kendrick, I think they were really missing like a super compelling female character in it. But besides that, this movie basically elevates itself in every aspect. I liked it quite a bit more than the first movie. The biggest selling point to me is the comedy. I don't remember the first film being like super funny, but they found a recipe here which I think could lead to one or two more movies getting made. And it's basically just going back to that 80s style buddy cop, bickering old married couple between Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal. They played really, really well off each other. And they even took Affleck's kind of, the elevator pitch aspect of this movie, like who he is as a character. They found a lot of ways to mine humor out of that with just his brutal honesty. And how it could, tick some people off, things like that. But I saw this on Friday with a packed audience, and maybe some of this was because I had a really engaged, really invested audience who was liking what they're seeing. There's a lot of laughs coming from around. But the movie, the first half of it, I could think you could almost call it a comedy in some ways. Like there's whole entire scenes just devoted to like making you laugh. And I thought that was really cool. It kind of gives it this like hangout vibe where I could see myself rewatching this just to kind of get some vibes between Affleck and Bernthal. And that was easily the best part of the movie for me. Like my favorite scene of this film, without getting into spoilers, and I'm not going to cover any spoilers on this, is like a honky tonk scene. And it's just, Ben Affleck doing some goofy, wholesome stuff almost, trying to impress a girl. So that was my favorite scene of the whole film. The action itself, if you're an action junkie, there's still really good action sequences. Like the very opening scene is a really like frenetically paced, like you have a good song playing, good editing, and I enjoyed that. And the third act has a really, really well done, big, climactic action set piece as you would expect from any type of movie like this. And the stakes of that are actually really well done. I mean, if you're not rooting for them to win at the end of this movie, I'd have to question your humanity a little bit. They almost took a softball approach with like the motivation and the stakes. Like it's very high, and you're rooting for them to win. If I had to have some issues with the film, it's a really, really forgettable villain. I barely remember the guy now, a day later, reviewing this. I guess he was intimidating just because he will do whatever, and he's got like a side henchman that's a really good sniper, but he's a pretty forgettable villain. So the story itself is pretty convoluted to an extent. There's some like a little bit of twists and turns that were pretty easy to predict, for at least for me paying attention. But if you're not paying attention, you might be quite confused about what's going on. I thought the second half or the second act, I should say, not the second half, but the second act, like the back half of it, they went away from the comedy and the buddy cop, and they had to like get the story rolling, and it really kind of slowed down a little bit, but it picks back up in the third act. So all in all, this is a really enjoyable film. I liked it better than the first one. The comedy, the chemistry between Bernthal and between Ben Affleck are the two biggest selling points to me. Really just them playing off each other. This is a movie I would probably buy on, add to my little collection behind me on Blu-ray or 4K. and rewatch it semi-annually, something like that. There's like hangout movie vibes to this, not like full-fledged Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or, you know, like some of Richard Linklater's great films, but yeah, like some of the best scenes in this don't have anything to do with action, and the action's still good when it happens. It's just not nonstop. So all in all, this is a 7 out of 10 for me. Is it worth seeing in theaters? Yeah, it is. If you get a good audience, I think you could get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Now, I wouldn't say it's like Dune 2 or, you know, this year's kind of must-see theater so far as Sinners. I wouldn't say it's in that like realm where you got to see it on the biggest screen possible, but if you love going to the movies, this is a good one to go to. And otherwise, you know, you could wait for streaming or get it on disc and have yourself a good time watching it at home on the couch. So either way, this is Margo Watches Movies. My name's Jake Margo, and I appreciate you guys coming back. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.